Imagine trying to compare a galaxy to a grain of sand. That's the challenge economists face when comparing national economies. We need tools, metrics that can capture the vastness of economic activity. Two of the most important are gross domestic product, or GDP, and purchasing power parity, or PPP. These concepts help us understand the economic might of nations like the United States and China. They illuminate the complex interplay of production, consumption, and global trade. GDP is like a national income statement. It provides a comprehensive overview of the economic health of a country, much like how a company's income statement reveals its financial status. It sums up the total value of all goods and services produced within a country's borders in a given period, usually a year. This includes everything from the cars rolling off the assembly lines in factories, to the crops harvested in the fields, to the services provided by workers in various industries, and the financial activities in the bustling districts of cities. Think of it as the grand total of everything a nation creates, from cars and computers to haircuts and healthcare. Every product manufactured, every service rendered, and every transaction completed contributes to this grand total. For instance, the cars produced in a manufacturing plant, the computers assembled in tech factories, the haircuts given in salons, and the healthcare services provided by professionals in hospitals all add up to the GDP. GDP is a vital tool for policymakers. It serves as a key indicator of economic performance and helps them understand the overall economic environment. By analyzing GDP data, policymakers can gauge the effectiveness of their economic strategies and make necessary adjustments. It helps them track economic growth, assess the impact of policies, and make informed decisions about taxes, spending, and interest rates. For example, if GDP is growing, it may indicate a healthy economy, leading to decisions that could foster further growth. Conversely, if GDP is shrinking, it might prompt measures to stimulate the economy. Additionally, GDP data can influence decisions on tax policies, government spending, and adjustments to interest rates to ensure economic stability and growth. The United States boasts the world's largest economy by nominal GDP. In 2023, its GDP surpassed $26 trillion. This reflects America's dominance in industries like technology, finance, and entertainment. However, GDP alone doesn't tell the whole story. It doesn't account for income inequality, environmental sustainability, or the well-being of citizens. For example, while the U.S. has a high GDP, it also grapples with issues like poverty and healthcare affordability. Imagine buying a basket of goods in New York City versus Beijing. The prices would differ significantly, even if the goods themselves were identical. PPP addresses this discrepancy by considering the relative cost of living and inflation rates across countries. It answers the question, how much does a basket of goods cost in different currencies? This allows for a more accurate comparison of living standards and economic output across nations. China's economy has grown exponentially in recent decades. When measured by PPP, China's economy now rivals that of the United States. This is because goods and services tend to be cheaper in China, so the purchasing power of the yuan is higher than its exchange rate suggests. PPP reveals China's massive consumer market and its growing global economic influence. Section 6, GDP versus PPP, a tale of two metrics. GDP and PPP offer distinct but complementary perspectives on economic performance. GDP provides a snapshot of a nation's overall economic output. It's useful for tracking short-term fluctuations and comparing the relative size of economies. PPP, on the other hand, offers a more nuanced view of living standards and purchasing power. It's essential for understanding the true cost of living and making cross-country comparisons of economic well-being. Section 7. The Architects of Economic Measurement. The concepts of GDP and PPP have deep historical roots. These measures are not just numbers. They are the result of decades of intellectual labor and innovation. They serve as the backbone of modern economic analysis, providing a standardized way to understand and compare the economic performance of different countries. Simon Kuznets, a Nobel laureate in economics, is considered the father of GDP. His groundbreaking work in the 1930s laid the foundation for how we measure economic activity today. Kuznets developed the framework for national income accounting, which allowed economists to quantify the economic output of a nation. This was a revolutionary step that transformed economic theory into a practical tool for policymakers. He developed the framework for national income accounting in the 1930s. This framework was crucial during the Great Depression, as it provided a way to measure the economic downturn and the effectiveness of recovery efforts. Kuznets' work was not just academic, it had real-world implications that helped guide economic policy during one of the most challenging periods in modern history. Gustav Cassel, a Swedish economist, introduced the concept of PPP in the early 20th century. Purchasing Power Parity, or PPP, is a method used to compare the economic productivity and standards of living between countries. Cassel's work was instrumental in providing a more accurate picture of global economic dynamics, allowing for better comparisons and more informed economic decisions. These pioneers recognized the need for standardized measures to track economic activity and make sense of the complex web of global trade. Their contributions have had a lasting impact, shaping the way we understand and interact with the global economy. Today, their legacy lives on in the data we analyze, the policies we craft, and the economic strategies we implement. The work of Kuznets and Cassel continues to be a cornerstone of economic thought, reminding us of the importance of rigorous measurement and analysis in navigating the complexities of the modern world. Section 8, Beyond the Numbers, a Holistic View. While GDP and PPP are essential tools, they shouldn't be the sole measures of a nation's well-being. Other factors such as income distribution, access to education and healthcare, environmental sustainability, and social progress are equally important. A holistic view of economic development considers not just the quantity of wealth generated, but also its distribution and its impact on the lives of citizens. Section 9. Embracing the complexity GDP and PPP in harmony. Understanding the nuances of GDP and PPP is essential for navigating the complexities of the global economy. Gross domestic product, or GDP, measures the total value of goods and services produced within a country. It is a crucial indicator of economic health, reflecting the size and efficiency of an economy. However, GDP alone does not provide a complete picture. This is where purchasing power parity, or PPP, comes into play. PPP adjusts GDP by taking into account the cost of living and inflation rates of countries, offering a more accurate comparison of economic productivity and living standards between nations. These metrics provide valuable insights into the economic performance of nations and the well-being of their citizens. By embracing these tools and recognizing their limitations, we can gain a clearer understanding of the forces shaping our world. GDP might show a country as economically strong, but without considering PPP, we might overlook the actual purchasing power of its citizens. For instance, a high GDP country with a high cost of living might not be as prosperous as it seems. As global citizens, we must look beyond simple rankings and delve into the multifaceted realities of economic development. This means considering both GDP and PPP to get a holistic view of economic health. By doing so, we can better understand the disparities and opportunities within the global economy. It is not just about how much is produced, but also about how much people can buy with what they earn. This dual approach helps policymakers, businesses, and individuals make more informed decisions that can lead to sustainable economic growth and improved living standards worldwide.